What's up, my streams of chaos? This is your kid Rose Chaos Gaming gamer, and I thought I was gonna be done talking about Rebirth stuff, but I guess not, because playing. This is my second playthrough the whole game, just for the story, since I've completed all the extra missions and stuff like that. So I wanted to get a little talk about another compilation title I think should be put back in the thing. And I'm going to be talking about Before Crisis. And this is what you've seen Bear and dying flashback scenes. Because if we get Before Crisis, we get to see the full thing that happened to the reactor. Because the reactors didn't explode by themselves. It was Avalanche Black. It was Fujito's Avalanche. If you want to know, Fujito was the villain in Before Crisis. The other leader of Avalanche, who did the same stuff as Hojo, experimented on members of Avalanche, from each side and turned them into monstrosities. But it's also the fact that he was extremely radical. He wanted to erase all life, send it back to the planet, absorb the life stream, and become powerful. And because he was a nut, he was also a nut that looks up to Hojo. But that's not the point. The point is, Fujito was the reason why Dine and Bear got themselves in the situation that they were in. Shinra probably would have never came after them if the reactor didn't blow up. But we already know Shinra's MO. Frame, blame, and hide. That's what Shinra's policies are normally like. That's what they did to Nibelheim, and that's what they did to Corel. And since the Avalanche Black didn't present themselves, outright, the Dine and Barrett were blamed for it. So all the actions that Avalanche Black has done is the cause of what happened to Barrett and Dine. I mean, Shinra, let's be honest, again, with their cover-up skills, the sins that Shinra has committed is the reason why this is happening in the first place. But Avalanche Black is the one who really pulled the trigger and blew up that reactor to get back at Shinra. But it wasn't really to get back at Shinra. It was to cause more casualties. Because Fujito's Avalanche was actually, so extreme they killed women, children, and everybody else in between. Fujito's Avalanche was the most extreme ever. And the other thing, too, is when we went to Cisne's house, we saw the shotgun that belonged to the Turk, known as Shotgun. That was a nice Easter egg that they put in the game. But I don't think it's coincidence that they put the Easter egg in there for a reason. They're really saying all these games are canon. And even though, some of the characters from Crisis Core were never in Before Crisis, because Before Crisis came out in 2004 in Japan on Nokia phones, and when there's no chance to get an emulator, if you do get an emulator, you gotta make sure the emulator works and it's good and it's English translated and all that stuff. If you have a gaming PC, which if you have a game PC, that's another reason to download Before Crisis. Now, Before Crisis was a mobile, scroll to action where you just scrolled on the phone to do your actions and stuff like that. It had the gameplay of the original Final Fantasy VII, where it was turn-based completely. But if you get your hands on that, I'd play it. But I'm just saying that we need to have a remake, because this is canon within the game. This is saying it. Cisne's house was saying outright this is canon. And then also the fact that Tifa was saved by Shotgun with the help of Zongen. Zongen gave Tifa to Shotgun. Shotgun took her to a clinic, that's when she met Dr. Sharon, and then that's how she joined Avalanche. And the fact that Tifa don't know how she made it, and Dr. Sharon tried to tell Tifa that not everyone on Shinra was evil, is proof without shadow of a doubt that the Before Crisis Turks were actually canon. Now, and they even said the entire compilation's canon. The fact we saw Weiss and Nero in episode Yuffie is saying that this is, and not only that, but the fact that we got a Crisis Core remake, it would make a ton of sense that this would have the backstory to this also has good backstory to Nibelheim incident, because then it shows Hojo kidnapped the rest of the surviving civilians, experimented on them. Zongi was able to save a few, yada yada, with the help of the Turks. But Nibelheim is a very important, crucial fact, because that's how Tifa survived and went to Dr. Sharon, was the Turk shotgun. Also Hojo. Hojo's the influence of the main bad guy before Crisis. Hojo is Fujito's idol. In fact, that's where Fujito got his ideals from. Even though he was trained by the opposite, Bugenhagen. Bugenhagen, one of his students, was Fujito before Fujito went bad. And it's also a reason why Bugenhagen's kind of cranky as well. Because, I mean, the fact your student went a dark path. And then this gets to what I wanted to talk about, being, a major Vincent Valentine fan. Being a major Vincent Valentine fan is another reason why Before Crisis should exist. Dirge Service did a good job at, putting backstory to Vincent Valentine. All the backstory, Lucretia, Sephiroth's birth, what caused him to live in the coffin for 30 years, and added with the splice of deep ground and all that stuff. It did very well for the backstories to some of those. Well, I actually cut out the backstory of deep ground because the online does no longer exist in the English versions of Dirge Cerberus. But there's a game that actually kind of helped splice out Vincent even more, and that was Before Crisis. Because when you play a shotgun, the Turk, you go with the boss of the Turks, the original boss before Sang. And the original boss was Verdot, or Veld, depending on the version that you go with. Veld was Vincent's boss. It was Veld that sent Vincent to be a bodyguard for the Genova project. Little and no, that's the event. Those are the events that messed up Vincent Valentine's life, which will actually make this will make Vince's story even bigger, even before we get part 3. Because with this remake of Before Crisis, we can flesh out, maybe have more cutscenes. Maybe have one cutscene where Vincent is dancing with Lucretia, or stuff like that, when you go find the special materia that Vincent helps you with. In fact, Vincent actually helps you fight Avalanche and Before Crisis. So that would make a lot more sense, and it would flesh out the Turk story and everything with it, and the history. And maybe this could also clear up the reason why he's still working for Shinra and Rebirth as security, making sure no one gets that big door. Maybe, it's not just the secret materia, but also Lucretia's files he's trying to keep safe. I don't think Vincent cares about the pay, because Vincent's not a money person. As you've seen with his old tech collection, like the original cord phones with the little dial-up numbers, the stuff that your grandparents, would own. But I think Vincent would love to keep his lights on if you wanted to go to the bathroom or read the books in this thing, in his casket room and stuff like that. Or I seen a little coffee machine. So I don't know, but it's like maybe to keep the lights on. This could also put some, like I said, the reason why when you meet him, he's still working for Shinra, because Sid and Vincent are confirmed to work for Shinra in this continuity. This would explain a lot better if you play Before Crisis, because you see him come out of the casket before Cloud and them, and that's when Shotgun and Verdot enter his casket room, which explains a whole lot. And also, I want to get to another important character as well a little bit later on, besides Vincent. But though, it does make sense. Vincent has been around since the history of Shinra. In fact, Vincent Valentine is the shadow of Shinra. All of Shinra's dark deeds, he was around to see it. He was around to see it all. Which explains why his reluctance to join any groups. But like I said, it's weird, but this will actually make it make sense if you got a Before Crisis remake. We would be able to see the context a lot better if we would have at least had this in the game, but you know. But anyways, it's just, Before Crisis remake is necessary. It would explain a lot more if they actually added Before Crisis. And especially with the Dirge of Cerberus remake, we'd get Vincent's full entire backstory besides just part 3. This would help people get eased into the character and who he is and why he acts the way he did in Rebirth and why he attacked us. So Before Crisis is necessary. And then also Zack's story. One of the most important stories of Zack that was only in Before Crisis was when Avalanche Black kidnapped some of his squad members that he was good friends with and then, experimented on them. And then you had to help Zack try to recover whatever they could of Zack's comrades during another. I think it was another mission in Modeaheim or the Icicle Inn or Great Glacier, one of those things. It was definitely an icy area, but Zack was definitely carrying the Buster Sword, and at this point he was a first-class soldier. So he must have went back there with a squad of soldiers, got ambushed by Avalanche Black, and then you had to help out Zack, which, will tie the history. And also this will also give you a reason why Barrett doesn't want to be compared to the Wu-Tai branch of Avalanche, because he's probably heard all the horrible things that Avalanche Black has done, and they hid in Wu-Tai. And Avalanche Black, they were the bad guys. This is where the one time I actually at this point rooted for Shinra, because Avalanche Black were that extreme. They were so extreme, like I said, everyone's casualty. I mean, I like the Avalanche that was actually controlled by Elf. And that's another thing I forgot to put in this video as well, is I would love to see Sephiroth's first fight against the leader of Avalanche, and then the leader of Avalanche puts doubt in Sephiroth's mind of what Sephiroth is fighting for. So, because it was her that started making Sephiroth ask questions, because she asked, "What do you fight for?" The original Avalanche leader, Elf, which is the daughter of the leader of the Turks at the time. She was strong because of the broken materia, but I would love to see that fight play in like a Rebirth style, to see how hero Sephiroth truly fought. We only got a glimpse of that in Crisis Core, but not in a way that it could be explored in Before Crisis Remake. So let me know in the comments if you want a Before Crisis remake or not, or do you want the original port on PSN and everything else. Let me know in the comments. May the crystal bless you.